First year of broking, 74 million, proved 45 million and settled 38 million. Did you underestimate yourself?
I think it was natural because of my age, but I think that just fuels me if someone says.
There's 3-6 months where you didn't even settle one deal. So whereas there were first win, where then it gave you the confidence to know like that you could do this.
I'd say about 7 months in when I think I settled it was close to 9 million in one month. I made the right decision. Why I'm going to have to move back to the country.
So if we talk about sacrifices, right? Like I think
a lot of hard work, and wouldn't have been able to do it if I didn't sacrifice early on.
Yeah, but where you find you are stopping people from making costly mistakes.
Usually we structure loans to minimise your bad debt, maximise your good debt, maximise the tax deduction.
So because you are 24 years old, right, and we would hear a lot in the market about first home buyers not being able to buy, do you think it's a case of just misinformed?
A lot of misinformation going around. There's a lack of land in any major city where people want to live.
Welcome to Loans Made Simple podcast. Real stories, real people, real conversations. I'm Yuel Scholl, and in this podcast, we sit down with our brokers, team members, and industry experts to talk about all things property, finance, and lending. From first home buyers to investors and business owners, we're here to make finance simple, practical, and just easy to understand. Let's get into it. Welcome, everyone. My name is Yuel. Today we have here Izaac Quaife. We call him IQ in the office. Izaac joined us about a year and a half ago, which is super awesome. First year of broking, you came to us. You lodged 74 million, had approved 45 million and settled 38 million. And then just in your second year of your broking year to date, I think the numbers are 76 million lodged, 51 million approved, and 48 million settled with 2 months to go. So welcome, mate. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome, no problem. So if you tell us a little bit about yourself so everyone knows, tell us your story.
Yes, so I'm 24 years old, so I'm fairly young compared to most other brokers. I grew up in the country and lived rural New South Wales my whole life. Then had the opportunity to move to Brisbane and join the team here. So I moved and literally started broking and got put into a real estate office the very next day. So a lot of changes very quickly, but it taught me to learn a lot in a short span of time. I had a bit of a background in banking, being in it for about two and a half years prior to broking, which provided good foundations to start a career in broking.
Yeah. And, I still remember the story of when you first came. We met at the pub for a meeting. You came in your chinos, this flower shirt and a tie, and I was like, this is a country boy if you know it. Which kudos to you purely because I remember saying to you, wear a white T-shirt, buy a few white T-shirts, wear a tie, look sharp, and as we can see now, you look sharper than everyone in this room. So, mate, tell me why did you submit that resume? Because we got you, got introduced to each other through Seek. So, why did you submit that resume to become a broker?
I had a group of friends. We all lived together in the country. They moved to the big smoke probably 6 months before I moved up, calling me every weekend. Brisbane's so much fun. City life's great. In banking, I was enjoying it, but I found maybe a lack of there's complacency with banking where it's you fixed rate. You might get a small portion of being a bonus, but there's no direct correlation to what you put in to what you get out. Where broking has that opportunity. It's how hard you work or what you achieve. You directly see the results of that back.
And so coming into, you mentioned being thrown into a real estate office straight away. Was there, did you underestimate yourself? Was there anyone that you thought underestimated yourself as well?
I think it was natural because of my age, having doubters. My brothers were calling me quite often. Some of them, they were very supportive, but at times, is this the right decision? Like, it's a big commitment moving and getting into broking. But I think that just fuels me if someone says,
"You're not
don't
going to
do it." Yeah. It makes me want to do something.
I still remember when you first, I think it was last year, you called me and then said, I went home and I showed my brothers my paycheck, and they didn't realize how much you actually earn. Now you're the big brother in a matter of ways.
Yeah. It took a bit of time to go out of the shadow, but.
So, of course, like when you start out broking, right, like there's a lot of losses, learnings.
where you are completely doubting yourself, right? I think you mentioned there's 6 months where you didn't even settle one deal. So was there a first win where then it gave you the confidence to know like that you could do this?
There was small wins along the way. One of the first loans I did was for a referral partner, top performing real estate agent, did her loan. And I think once I built that trust, knowing I could handle her things, then referrals started coming in. It really probably clicked with me, I'd say about 7 months in, when I think I settled it was close to 9 million in one month, 9 million worth of loans. Where
First, I think that was month 5.
yeah, it relatively early on, but probably prior to that, there was a lot of moments I'm like, if I made the right decision, am I going to have to move back to the country? Plenty of moments like that, but I think the key's just sort of having grit, determination, sticking through the tough times, because the good times will...
And trusting the process as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So if we talk about sacrifices, right? Like I think I remember when I started broking young, and maybe a lot of viewers and listeners will be thinking the same thing. But when you're young, you have no responsibilities, no kids, etc. So they think you should be able to make it work. But I still believe like anyone has sacrifices, and it's just relative. So did you go through those moments where you knew you had to sacrifice early on? And what were those sacrifices?
Yeah, sacrifice was the key, especially probably in my first year. I think besides Christmas, I probably didn't have 2 days off in a row for a full year.
Wow.
So it was just a lot of hard work and not sort of seeing the end results right away, but knowing the results would come if it just stuck to the process. But yeah, sacrificing, family events or traveling or time off, I think was probably a big part of the reason I got to where I am now.
And now you find that with those sacrifices made, do you have more time off? Because I think burnout is obviously a big thing in the industry. So how often do you now have a holiday?
I have my time back now, fortunately, after sort of growing my individual team. I do have the capacity if I need to go away for a weekend or take a day off, I can. Essentially when I want, but I try to limit it just because I still want to.
I think you had about 4 weddings, but it wasn't you getting married, right?
Yeah, I had it was a very busy 5 or 6 weeks where I think it was pretty much every weekend I was flying somewhere or traveling just for family events. So I'm glad I have that flexibility now, but wouldn't have been able to do it if I didn't sacrifice early on.
Yeah. So clients, do you have any tell stories? Obviously, being young, dealing with first home buyers, investors, are there any clients starting out that like there was a deal specifically that comes to mind?
There's one in particular. So in this instance, client had come to me, their pre-approval for first home guarantee scheme had expired. They were just looking to get the same as what they had when they went to the bank directly and just extend their pre-approval. But I looked at their situation and the client, he was a young fella, had a really high borrowing capacity, but was just limited in terms of his savings, which limited his maximum purchase price. So I structured it as a family guarantor loan, not using the scheme, which essentially, because of his borrowing capacity was a lot higher, he was limited by his savings, was able to purchase for about 100,000 more. He wanted to purchase at those higher price points, didn't understand what a guarantor loan even was, like a family guarantor loan.
Yeah.
His parents were skeptical at first, had a few meetings with him, gave him the comfort, and because of that, purchased at a higher price point and gone back and he's looking to get an investment property now a year later.
I feel like we see that so often, right? Where people come to us and they say, this is what I'm looking to do. This is the pre-approval I have. And it's not really a mistake that will cost them, but it's almost a mistake that they could have more cash in their account, right? So, are there clients where does it happen often now in this market where you find you are stopping people from making costly mistakes, and not in terms of interest rate, but in terms of just having more cash in the account?
Yeah, definitely. I think the main one I come across is typically for your mum and dad investors, the way they structure their investment lending, I think is key, because obviously there's tax deductibility or the negative gearing, everything like that is so important, where I find a lot of mums and dads, they might pay down most of their own occupier, have a lump sum of savings that they're looking to put into an investment purchase, but sort of usually we structure loans to minimise your bad debt, maximise your good debt, maximise the tax deductions, because at the end of the financial year it could be a difference of tens of thousands. So I think for investment lending, it's key to talk to a good broker, talk to an accountant, because it could be a costly mistake down the track.
Thank God you said that. I thought I was going to have to do the disclaimer. That's not advice.
No, yeah, not advice. Yeah. Preface that.
When your nickname in the office, IQ, really comes to light, especially, and I want you to tell us how you structured this loan. That client where basically they bought, I think, 2-3 investment properties, and you structure it a certain way. And the funny thing with this story is that Izaac called me and said, "Hey, I'm about to do this $4 million loan." And you caught up with them a year ago. I was like, okay, maybe I wasn't that good. So tell us that loan, because that was amazing to see, because I think they came in thinking, well, their broker told them, not me. Their other broker told them, you could only do this much, but you structured a certain way. Now, how many properties did they buy at one time?
Yeah, so these clients came to me, and within the span of about 3 months bought 3 or 4 properties. And it was just a matter of thinking outside of the box. So clients had great borrowing capacity, limited in terms of their equity. So the way we structured it was having all these properties secured against a guarantor, one guarantor, the parent's property, which until I dig in and sort of researched it, it's not something I would have heard of. But it would have saved them hundreds of thousands in terms of lenders' mortgage insurance, and reduced interest rates. And initially they were looking at doing maybe 1 or 2 properties. But then I think since we were able to structure it and show value to them, they ended up purchasing.
And it's amazing to see, because those types of clients you keep forever. I think they're now looking to buy their 5th, 6th property, and then obviously you'll be in this game for a bit longer. So you'll be doing multiple properties right for them.
Yeah, I think it's my favourite clients, the repeat ones that keep coming back.
And do I find, when I think of this client, right, I remember when I started broking, my deals were like, average loan size was like 550,000. And I assume it's because I was young, right? But you've proved me wrong, because your average loan size is close to 1.2 million, purely because you are that thinker type, and those are the types of clients you attract.
Yeah, I'm probably a bit more analytical, so I find, maybe the more professionals that really look in depth and think things over, I can relate to them, where I clearly show them why this is a good option. Might take a bit longer for them to sometimes lodge or be comfortable with putting in an application, because they want to think things over.
Like you would as well, right?
Like that's how I probably operate. But then I find typically the loan sizes are a bit higher for investors in general.
So because you are 24 years old, right, and we would hear a lot in the market about, first home buyers not being able to buy. Do you think it's a case of, like, that is the case, they are locked down, or just misinformed?
It's probably a mixture of both. I think there's a lot of misinformation going around. You go to a barbecue and Uncle Bill says this, and your friends say something else. Like, there is a lot of misinformation. Although I think it is pretty tough for the average young first home buyer. I think, in my opinion, it's probably just there's a lack of land in any major city where people want to live. Not enough properties are probably being built. Like, I've got plenty of criticisms of the government, maybe what they could do to help. I think should all be about incentivising building new properties as opposed to the government making it easier for first home buyers to get a larger loan, which maybe their incomes wouldn't allow. So I think it is tough for the average young first home buyer, but it's not hopeless.
Yeah.
There's, if you've got the desire and hunger to purchase a property, you can definitely make it happen.
Yeah.
It might not be, a 5-bedroom in the city, but you can still get something, get into the market.
I agree. I think a lot of things we talk about is when we're talking to first home buyers, and even sometimes, to be fair, mums and dads wanting to upsize, you almost have to say to them, this is just a stepping stone, right? Like, it's not your forever home. Build up a bit of equity, upsize to where you want to, or buy your first home. Maybe you might need to be a bit further out from the city, but at least you're getting into the market as opposed to having to wait, save up a bigger deposit to get in there.
Yeah, exactly.
So in terms of social media, this is a funny one. You know how I felt about it a year and a half ago, right? Where I always thought with social media, it's maybe something you didn't need, in my opinion, because I never used it. But I now have a different mindset on it. What about you? Do you think it's changing broking?
It is. You see, I think,
and your referral partners as well. 'Cause
Yeah.
I remember you making that point.
yeah. I think for clients or even me personally, I'm scrolling through watching memes, and I still get 20 different broker videos pop up. So
You
I think
haven't applied
it's
for any, have you?
no, not job applications,
okay,
no,
good.
but once giving structures and things, which it has to make us a bit more competitive to try to stand out when we're meeting with clients, because they might hear a clickbait title from certain people in the industry, and it makes our jobs a little bit harder, I think, trying to actually tell them the truth. I think social media as a broker is important. Especially for referral partners, just so they know what you're up to, stay front of mind. I haven't done a great deal of social media, admittedly, but I think it is important.
Because it's a challenge of like time versus are you going to get some type of reward out of it, right? When you are focusing so much on referral partners, which is why I think we're only now starting to do it, having people like Lily on board as well, because I think when you start as a broker, you're so focused on building your referral partners, getting client appointments where you just don't have the time to post.
Exactly.
Yeah. So speed versus quality, I think is always a big thing we hear in the market, right? And especially when I talk to other loan market brokers, and they're like, not loan market, but just brokers in general, you should have a one-touch approval. But then at the same time, if you're writing volume, it's sometimes near impossible to have one-touch approval. So where are your thoughts on speed versus quality, and how do you is it 50-50, 80%?
I think for every application, I'd probably expect we'll get some questions back from the assessor. I think if you're working that hard to get a one-touch approval, you're not writing enough deals. I think speed.
We have too many, in my opinion, overheads.
Yeah, exactly. I think if you're picking one or the other, I think if we can get it to about 95% quality, but I think speed for a purchase is crucial. Like working with real estate agents, I know the difference between a 7-day and a 14-day finance clause. I know quite often an offer will be accepted with a much smaller clause. That might be the difference of $5,000-$10,000. So I think for purchases, speed is crucial.
And the saying of in the business that we have, it doesn't have to be perfect, just good enough for lodgement. Because I think you can spend all this time trying to figure out, what's the reds, the ticks in apply online, for example. By that point, you could have lodged probably 2-3 more deals, and just expect an MIR.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, you being younger, and I feel now old. I'm turning 30 at the end of the year, so I'm trying to shave my beard so I look a bit younger. So in terms of like older brokers like myself, do you feel like there are things where we could be doing better, or younger people are now introducing? So I love when I speak to you, and this is something I really like to take on from you, is when you tell me new ideas, straight away, if it makes sense, we implement it.
Yeah, I think for any older brokers, I reckon just
there's a change
staying up to date with policies. When you're young and hungry coming in, you want to learn absolutely everything about broking. You read every like the lenders sent emails with all their updates and policies. So I used to read it all, just be obsessed by it. I think the longer you stay in broking, the more you just maybe set in your ways a little bit. But I think just probably having that open mind to continuously learn. I think probably another thing with younger people is the adaptation to AI and technology. I think if you don't adapt and move forward with it, you'll fall behind. I think technology's it's a lot quicker to calculate something with AI than sit there manually and work it out.
And I feel like although we have like things like Quickly, Jiffy that's now on Quickly Pro, etc., it's not because we have it. It's more like you still have to log in, you still have to learn how to use it when you're so used to, for example, the way you run. And maybe that's why you then bring on more support to help you with those things. Because if I'm honest, I haven't even looked at Jiffy, but I know our credit analysts have looked at it, right?
Yeah.
So do you think sometimes there should be more training for older brokers around how to use those programs, or because younger people just pick it up straight away?
I think more training's definitely helpful. In my opinion, and it's probably just a generalization, but I think younger people might be more. They're generally just better at technology. Like they're not afraid of clicking a button and breaking something.
Yeah.
Training is definitely helpful, but I think one thing in our office is we have so many different brokers from different age ranges and backgrounds, and I think just open to discussion, chatting casually, and I think that's key. Like you can sit there and have a training, but people might be half asleep. But I think if you can actually see the benefit from another broker explaining it, it's always helpful.
I think that is, like I will say, the benefit of one of our culture. And I remember when you first came aboard, I said, for the first year, just do not say anything to me, just follow what I say. After this first year, once you've earned your keep, then we start to listen. And there's so many ideas you come up with, we try to implement straight away. Because I think our youngest broker's 21, and then the oldest is over 40. That's all I can say. So rapid fire questions, mate. One thing, I know we talk about things we'd love to do with clients, but one thing you would never do with a client.
That's probably what else wouldn't I do? Just give them a dodgy loan or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So date them and no dodgy loans.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. So best advice for someone in their 20s?
Work hard while you're young, while you have energy. Don't have as many commitments, because I think once you get a family and settle down, it's a lot trickier to put absolutely I don't know, if I had a family, it'd be hard to put work 70 hours in a week. Still while you're young and hungry.
I know I said rapid fire, but on that, do you feel like hard work is falling by the wayside with the younger generation? The only reason I want to ask you that is because I remember when I was younger, the older people would say that, and now I'm here saying that, right? Is it just something that trends, or do you feel that when you are working longer hours and you see other people not?
I think it's probably a little bit of that, just passing down from generations. However, I would probably suggest maybe with the rise of social media, I think younger people are just used to that instant gratification, where I think hard work in a career, it's not always instant gratification. It can be very delayed. So working so hard for so long without seeing the results right away, maybe people just drop off because of that. And I think maybe because of social media. That being said, there are some young people that just work like absolute dogs.
Right.
I can't say if it was more common in the olden days. I will say though, I think compared to maybe 20, 30 years ago, the work doesn't escape you these days. Like you have a phone, computer with you most of the time. People will call it at 9 p.m. and you're there.
You have a choice on whether to pick up that call or not, right?
I think back in the day, you'd work at your office, you'd leave whenever, 5, 6 p.m. And it wouldn't always, you wouldn't take your work home with you.
I think they're called fax machines. Well, I'm joking. I know what a fax machine is. All right, awesome. And where will you be in 3 years if you were to look at your future self?
That's an exciting question, I think. The amount of where I started a year and a half ago to where I am now, and I think if I'm on that same trajectory, it's going to be a very exciting place. Have plenty of opportunities already, but I think just expand my business, keep working hard. I want to chase you down and be the best broker around. But yeah, it'd be an exciting future. I think probably purchase a few investment properties. Overseas holidays. I think just the financial freedom. Who knows how long that'll take, but I think could be on the right track.
And do you have personal goals like travel, buy a property? Sorry, your first one.
Yeah. So I'm looking to buy my first property probably within the next few months. I have to wait till the end of the financial year so I can have 1 year of a self-employed. Although I do know a good broker who could probably do some loads around it. Looking to buy a property soon and then build a portfolio over the next few years.
And travel as well. Thank you, Izaac. Thank you for coming and sitting down with us. Really appreciate your time, mate. Thank you, listeners and viewers. Make sure you like and subscribe and share wherever you can. See you on the next one.
Thanks for listening to Loans Made Simple. Make sure to follow, share, and connect with us for more conversations around people, property, and finance. See you in the next episode.